Okay, so today we're going to go over some techniques for reading the music by ourselves. And today we're going to be looking at the song Brother John. When we look at our music, there are a few different ways we can figure out how to play this. The first technique we're going to look at is by looking at the hands separately. This is a really good idea if you're not sure how to do the hands together because it makes it a bit more simple. We're going to be starting with the right hand today. We know that the music starts with the right hand here because we can see the treble clef symbol at the beginning, and the notes are written in the same set of 5 lines or stave as we can see with the treble clef. We have the time signature of 4/4, meaning that there are 4 beats in the bar. We're going to look at the first note, and this one we should be able to easily identify it because it is a middle C. The middle C is one of the really easy ones to find because it has the extra line through the center that kind of looks like a set of cat whiskers. We can see that there is a finger number 1 on top of this letter C, and that is going to tell us that we're going to take our thumb finger and put it on the middle C in our piano, which is the one right in the center where we're sitting. If we put our thumb finger on the middle C, all of the other fingers afterwards will cover 1 key each, and that shows us that our right hand will be in C position. After we've found our position, we can look at the rest of the letters. We could go through and name them. We can see a C, D, E, and then another C, which is our first bar. If we don't know some of those letters, we could make a good educated guess by looking at the patterns. So since we know that the first letter is a C, we can look at the next letter over and we can see that it moves up 1 step. We know this because the C is on the line and the D is on the space right next door. This would tell us that our thumb would start and we would simply step up to the next note. You could also look on the piano and think, okay, this is the C, and then if I step up, I know looking at the piano that this is the letter D for dog because it's in between the 2 black keys. So this must be letter D. Afterwards, we can look at the next letter, which is another step up from the D because it's going from a space where the D is to a line where the E is. So this must be going up 1. The last letter also looks like a letter C, so we know that we should be going back down to that thumb. But we could also look at the pattern. We're going from an E, which is on a line. We're jumping over the space to another line, which would be our letter C. So now that we've figured out both the letters and the pattern, we'll be able to play the first bar. We know that each of these beats are worth 1, so they should just be held for 1 count each. 1, 1, 1, 1. We can also see the curved line that connects them that tells us to slur them or make the sounds connect. We can then move on to the next bar, which has a little block. This tells us that we're not going to play anything with our right hand. We can see down below that there is music in our left hand. We could either learn the music now for the left hand or wait until after we finish the line. I'm going to wait and do the right hand for the rest of the line first. After the bar that has a rest, I'm going to skip over to the next bar, which has a finger number 3 on a letter E. We already know that our hand stays in C, so our third finger is in the middle. We're going to start with the 3 on E. Our next letter goes up 1, which is letter F, and then our last letter is the G, which has gone up 1 more step. The whole bar would sound like. We know that the G should be played for 2 counts because it is a white note. So you would have 1, 1, 1, 2. The bar afterwards has nothing in it. Now we're going to go on to the second line with our right hand. This one has no finger numbers. So if we're not sure what that first letter is, we could use a different technique, which is using our rhymes. We're using the rhymes of faces for spaces and every good boy deserves fruit to count up the lines or the spaces. So starting from the bottom, the first line is the line for E, which is the every. The second line is G for good. So that would mean that this letter is G. Another way that you could tell that this is a G without using the rhymes or using a finger number is because the G is on the line that is in the middle of the treble clef curl. The treble clef is also called a G clef because the G is written around the line for G. We can then find the G on the piano. We could look for C, D, E, F, and G going through our alphabet. That means we would start with our pinky finger on G. We would continue to go down because we can see that the music has a pattern going downwards this time. We go down in 3 steps and 1 jump. G, F, E, and here's the jump. You jump over the D, back down to the C. We have another bar of rests, and then afterwards, we've got 2 bars that just contain the letter C, which is nice and simple. There is a 1 beat rest in the middle though, so we have C, rest, C, C, rest, C. Now we're going to do the same thing for our left hand. Our left hand starts with the letter C, and we're using finger number 5, which is a pinky finger. When our music starts with one hand in C position, it's very likely at a beginner level that the other hand will also start in C. When we're putting our hands in C position, our thumb in our right hand and our pinky in our left hand go on the letter C. So both of those low fingers go on the letter C. We would step our fingers up so that each finger has the same letter key in a sequence. And then we can do the same technique and strategy as we used with our right hand to figure out that left hand. We're starting with the pinky finger on C, stepping up to D, stepping up to E, and jumping down to C. We're going to skip a bar because it has the brick rest. Starting with finger 3, and that one is on letter E. We know that this is an E because it's right next door to the letter D, and E is after D in the alphabet. We'll start with E, then we move up to the letter F, and then up to the G for 2 counts. 1, 2. In our next line, we get a finger number 1 to start the left hand, and we're going to go down in a series of 3 steps in a jump, just like the right hand did. And then in the last 2 bars, there is 1 letter G, and it's given us the finger number 1 for the thumb. So we have a rest, G, rest, 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 G, rest, rest. The left hand is the same as the right hand for the majority of the song. It's just copying each other. We can see that it's copying each other because the patterns look the same. We can see the jumps and the steps are looking like they're the same thing in each bar, and we can see some of the finger numbers are going to be the same, like the finger number 3. And if we named all of the letters, they're copying each other too. So then we can put the hands together. When we read the music with our hands together, we need to read both of the lines at the same time. This song is really fun because the left and the right hand don't play at the same time. In the first bar, we can see that the right hand has music to play while the left hand is resting and playing nothing. In bar number 2, the left hand plays while the right hand is resting, and so on until the last 2 bars. So the whole song will sound like this. And that's how we would read the music for the song Brother John. Hope this helps out.